The house felt colder than usual that evening. Maybe it was the weight of suspicion pressing down on me, or maybe I had already sensed the truth before I ever hit play. For weeks, something had been off about Elena, my wife, the woman I had built a life with. It wasn't the obvious signs people talk about. No sudden coldness, no long nights away. No, she was still affectionate, still looking me in the eye when she said, "I love you." That was what scared me the most. I needed proof, not because I wanted to catch her, but because a part of me refused to believe my gut feeling. So, I set up a voice-activated recorder in our bedroom and another in the guest room. If I was wrong, then I'd delete the files and pretend this never happened. The recorder in the guest room stayed silent. The one in our bedroom did not. I hesitated before pressing play. Maybe I should have just burned the recorder, walked away, and let my ignorance stay intact. But it was too late. The moment I heard the first sound, my stomach twisted into knots. It was the sound of kissing. Then, a man's voice, low, breathless, hungry. "Elena." My wife let out a soft laugh. "Dylan, this feels so good." I felt my grip on the recorder tighten. "I still can't believe Nathan agreed to this," she whispered. "Nathan?" "Me. The idiot." "The man?" Dylan sounded confused. "Wait." He agreed. A long silence. Then, Elena spoke again, her voice dripping with amusement. "Of course not. Why would I tell him?" A sickening laugh followed. "Nathan lives in blissful ignorance. He's too busy at work, chasing that promotion he'll never get. I thought you told me he was okay with it. Just think of it as swinging," she teased. "But without Nathan sleeping with Camille." Another name that cut through me like glass. Camille. Dylan's wife. My friend. "Camille wouldn't touch Nathan with a 10-foot pole," Dylan muttered. Elena chuckled. "That's true. But you're being a little harsh, aren't you?" "Come on, Elena. You said it yourself. You only married him because you were desperate. Your ex got you pregnant and left. Nathan just happened to be the nice guy, willing to save you. And then, poof." He snapped his fingers. "Miscarriage. No baby. But you were already stuck with him." I turned off the recorder. I couldn't listen anymore. The betrayal wasn't just about the sex. It wasn't about Dylan or Camille. It was the disrespect. The ease with which she mocked me, reduced me to nothing but a fool, a stepping stone in her life. I sat there in silence, staring at the recorder, my own breath uneven. I had always prided myself on being a good man, a decent man, the kind of guy who works hard, stays faithful, and does the right thing. But tonight, something changed. Something inside me broke. If she wanted a bad man, I'd show her what bad really meant. I wasn't the same man when I turned off that recorder. I sat there, gripping the tiny device in my shaking hands, replaying every single word she had said. The laughter, the smugness, the way she had mocked me while lying in our bed with another man. My first instinct was rage. To smash something. To drive to Dylan's house and rearrange his face. But I wasn't going to let them reduce me to that. I would not be the fool they thought I was. Instead, I took a deep breath, got up, walked to the kitchen. I cooked. Soup of all things. A hearty, beef noodle soup with root vegetables, something I had learned to make back in my Boy Scout days. As the broth simmered, the door opened. "Hi, honey," Elena called out, her voice sickeningly sweet. "How was your day? Any news about the promotion?" I didn't turn around. I kept stirring the soup. "No news yet. How was yours?" "It was good," she chirped. "But I'm just happy to be home with you." "What are you making?" "It smells amazing." I let out a small chuckle. Beef noodle soup. Something I learned back when I was a Boy Scout. Silence. For just a second, the mask slipped. She hesitated, only for a fraction of a second, but I caught it. The way her breath hitched. The way her fingers gripped the counter just a little too tightly. She knew. She knew I knew. Still, she recovered quickly, stepping behind me and wrapping her arms around my waist like nothing had changed. "I can't wait to try it." I didn't move. "I was thinking about our friends today," I said casually, keeping my voice even. "Dylan and Camille." I felt her body tense. "Bingo. I still wonder why we haven't seen them recently. Sometimes I feel like Camille doesn't like me," I mused. Maybe she wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole? Elena's grip tightened around my waist. Her entire body went rigid. And then, it happened. The mask shattered completely. She stepped back, eyes wide, voice shaky. What do you know? I turned to face her, slowly, deliberately. And for the first time in our marriage, I saw something in her eyes I had never seen before. Fear. I know you had sex with Dylan. Her mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. I know Dylan thought I was in on the arrangement. But of course, you didn't bother telling me. Nathan, wait. And I know that while you were in our bed with him, you called me an idiot. Boring. Bad in bed. A Boy Scout. Her breathing turned shallow. She looked like a deer caught in headlights. So tell me, Elena, was Dylan the first? Or have there been others? She flinched, not because she was shocked by my accusation, but because for one moment, her brain was calculating a response, trying to decide whether to lie or to confess. That was all I needed to see. Nathan, it's not what you think. I laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, it's exactly what I think. And you know what? I get it now. Get what? She whispered. You never loved me. Her lips parted, but I kept going. I was just the backup plan. The safe guy. The one who was there when your bad boy disappeared and left you pregnant. I was the Boy Scout who married you to protect your reputation. But you never wanted me, did you? Nathan, say it. I took a step forward. She took a step back. Say it out loud. Her chin trembled. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I exhaled sharply. Of course not. You just meant to have your fun first. To taste the forbidden fruit before deciding if you wanted to keep it. She blinked rapidly, shaking her head. I swear to you, Nathan, I was going to stop. I let out a humorless chuckle. The only reason you were going to stop is because you got caught. Silence. For the first time, she had nothing to say. I turned away, picked up the bowl of soup, and placed it in front of her. Enjoy the meal, Elena. Her eyes flickered with suspicion. Fear. What did you put in it? I smirked. You tell me. You always said I was a boring, predictable man. What do you think I did? She hesitated, looked at the bowl, then at me. She didn't take a bite. Good. I grabbed my keys and headed for the door. Nathan, wait. No. She reached for my arm. I pulled away. This is over, Elena. She panicked. Please, stop. This is so sudden. Let's talk about this. I can explain. I turned to her one last time. You already did. And then I walked out, slamming the door behind me. I drove. No destination, no plan. Just the hum of the engine and the chaos inside my mind. The city lights blurred past me, neon signs and streetlights bleeding together as I gripped the wheel tighter. Elena's voice still echoed in my head. That laughter. That mocking laughter. Nathan lives in blissful ignorance. He's at work, chasing a promotion he'll never get. I had spent years believing I was building something real, that we were a team, that I was working for us. But the truth was, there was no us. I had been alone this whole time. I pulled into a rundown roadside motel on the outskirts of town. The kind of place no one asks questions. The kind of place people go to when they don't want to be found. The mattress was stiff. The air smelled of mildew. Perfect. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall, breathing heavily. For the first time in my life, I understood something deep and dark inside me. I had always been the good guy, the nice guy, the man who held doors open, who sent good morning texts, who remembered anniversaries and made sure his wife never had to worry about a single thing. And what did it get me? A wife who laughed about how pathetic I was while she slept with my best friend. A sudden, bitter thought crept in. Maybe Elena was right. Maybe being the good guy had been my greatest mistake. I ran a hand over my face. I had a choice to make. I could be the fool they thought I was. Or I could become something else. The bad man she claimed she wanted. Meanwhile, Elena's panic. Elena stood in the kitchen, staring at the untouched bowl of soup. Her stomach churned. She could still smell the spices, the warmth, the love that had once gone into every meal Nathan ever made for her. But tonight, that love was gone. Tonight, it felt like a warning. Or worse, a trap. She had watched too many crime shows, heard too many stories about men who snapped when they were betrayed. And for the first time in her life, she wasn't sure who Nathan really was anymore. Did he poison the soup? The thought was ridiculous. Nathan was safe. Nathan was harmless. Nathan was boring, right? Her hands trembled as she picked up her phone and dialed. Dylan. It rang 3 times before he picked up. Hey, babe, he said smoothly. Miss me already? Shut up. Her voice was sharp, unsteady. Nathan knows. A pause. Then, what? He knows, Dylan. He confronted me, stormed out of the house. I don't know where he is. Did you tell him? Did he find out some other way? Elena swallowed hard. That damn recorder. He played a recording of our conversation. The one in our bedroom. Dylan cursed under his breath. You're telling me he had AF *** king recorder in the room? He must have suspected something, and you let this happen? I didn't let anything happen. Elena snapped. I didn't know, but now we have a problem. He's not the same Nathan anymore, Dylan. I saw it in his eyes. Dylan let out a breath. Okay, listen. Calm down. We just have to play it smart. Nathan's not the type to do anything crazy. Elena hesitated. I don't know, she admitted. He's different now. It scared me. You think he's dangerous? She exhaled sharply. I don't know what I think. There was silence between them for a moment. Then Dylan spoke, his voice more serious. You need to handle this, before it gets out of control. Elena's stomach twisted. Handle it how? Talk to him. Cry if you have to. Make him believe it was a mistake. Make him want to forgive you. You know how he is, soft-hearted. Make him weak again. And if that doesn't work? Dylan was quiet for a long time. Then we make sure he stays quiet. Elena froze. Are you saying? Relax. I'm just saying, we need to be careful. Because if Nathan decides to ruin us, I'll do whatever it takes to protect myself. A chill ran down Elena's spine. She had never seen Nathan as a threat before. Now, she was beginning to realize, maybe she should have. Back at the motel, a new plan. Nathan sat in the dimly lit room, his mind racing. For the first time in his life, he wasn't going to be the victim. He reached into his bag, pulled out his laptop, and started typing. He wasn't sure how far he would take this, but one thing was certain. Elena and Dylan had played with fire. Now, they were about to find out what happens when the nice guy stops being nice. Nathan sat hunched over his laptop, fingers drumming against the table as he stared at the screen. His pulse was steady now, his anger refined into something colder, calculated. Revenge wasn't about losing control. It wasn't about throwing punches or screaming in someone's face. Real revenge was making them suffer without ever lifting a hand. He started with Dylan. A quick search gave him everything he needed. Dylan had a wife, a mortgage, a respectable career. A man who played the role of an upstanding citizen, hiding the fact that he was nothing more than a liar and a coward. Nathan opened his email. To Camille Donovan. Subject, your husband's lies. Camille, I hope this email finds you well. I regret that we've never spoken much, but I think you deserve to know the truth about your husband, Dylan. Attached to this email is a recording of a conversation that took place between Dylan and my wife, Elena. It will tell you everything you need to know. Sincerely, Nathan. He hesitated only for a second before attaching the recording. Then, he hit send. One down. Nathan leaned back in his chair, exhaling. It wasn't enough yet, but it was a start. Now, it was time for Elena. Meanwhile, Elena's desperation. Elena paced the kitchen, her nerves unraveling. Nathan still hadn't come home. He hadn't called, hadn't texted, hadn't reacted the way she expected. She knew men like Nathan. The good guys. They shut down when they were hurt. They forgave when they shouldn't. That's what Dylan was counting on. But tonight, for the first time ever, Elena wasn't so sure Nathan would forgive anything. The silence was worse than screaming. Her phone buzzed. She snatched it up, praying it was Nathan. But it wasn't. It was Camille. Her heart stopped. She answered cautiously. Hey, Camille? There was no hesitation in the woman's voice. You lying. Disgusting ****. Elena's breath caught. What? Don't act dumb. Camille's voice shook, but it wasn't from sadness. It was rage. I just got an email. From Nathan. And guess what was attached? Elena felt the blood drain from her face. Nathan sent her the recording. Listen to me. Shut your mouth, Elena. Camille's voice was pure venom. You think I didn't have my suspicions? You think I didn't notice the way Dylan started coming home late? The way he suddenly wanted me to try new things in the bedroom? Elena swallowed hard. I don't know what he told you, but… Oh, I don't care about Dylan. You can keep him. Camille's voice dropped lower. But let me make one thing very clear. If you ever, and I mean ever, come near me or try to lie your way out of this, I will destroy you. And Nathan? You should be terrified of him, because if he's smart enough to blindside me like this, imagine what he has planned for you. The line went dead. Elena stood frozen, the phone still pressed against her ear. She had underestimated Nathan. For the first time, she was the one who was afraid. Nathan sat in his car outside their house, watching. Lights on. Elena was home. His phone buzzed. A text from Camille. I handled Elena. Good luck with the rest of your plans. Let me know if you need help. I owe you one. Nathan smirked. Camille wasn't the kind of woman to sit and cry over betrayal. She was the kind of woman who would set fire to her cheating husband's entire life. Good. Nathan stepped out of the car and walked up to the front door. He was calm, focused, ready. Elena opened the door the second he knocked, eyes wild. Nathan, where the hell have you been? He walked past her without answering, straight into the living room. Sit. His voice was quiet. She hesitated. Nathan, please, we can talk about this. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't move toward her. He simply turned, and for the first time, she saw it. The dead look in his eyes. Not anger. Not sadness. Just nothing. Sit down, Elena. She sat. Nathan took a seat across from her, resting his elbows on his knees. Tell me why you did it. Elena swallowed hard. I don't know. It just happened. I wasn't thinking. Nathan laughed coldly. Not thinking? You lied to me for months. You made fun of me in my own bed. You mocked me while you were with him. Her face crumbled. I didn't mean those things. You meant every word. Tears welled up in her eyes. Nathan, please. No. No more pretending. No more fake tears. He leaned closer. You had everything. A husband who loved you. A man who would have done anything for you. And you threw it all away for what? A few cheap thrills? Elena sobbed. I swear, I never wanted to hurt you. Nathan smiled. A slow, eerie smile. Oh, but you did. And now? I'm done being hurt. It's your turn. Elena's breath hitched. What do you mean? Nathan leaned back, completely at ease. Tomorrow, I'm filing for divorce. Her face crumbled. No. Nathan, no. We can fix this. She lunged forward, grabbing his hands. Please. I love you. He laughed in her face. You love me? His eyes gleamed with something dangerous. Let me tell you what love really looks like, Elena. She froze. Love is honesty. Love is loyalty. Love is not dragging someone through hell while whispering, I love you in their ear. Her hands shook around his. I'll change. I'll do anything. Nathan stood up. Too late. She fell apart. Tears. Desperation. Begging. Nathan turned and walked toward the door. Before he stepped out, he looked back one last time. I hope Dylan was worth it. Because now? You get to keep him. And with that, he walked out forever. Nathan stood outside his house, the house that was no longer his. The stars above were indifferent, the world outside untouched by the chaos that had consumed his life in the past 48 hours. But inside him, everything had changed. He was no longer Nathan, the good husband, the loyal man, the one who sacrificed and forgave. That version of him died the moment he played that recording. Now, there was only a man who had learned the hard way. Kindness is wasted on the wrong people. His phone buzzed. A text. From Camille. Dylan lost his job. I filed for divorce this morning. He's scrambling, trying to beg his way back. He's pathetic. Thanks for the warning. He deserved this. Nathan smirked. One down. Elena was next. Meanwhile, Elena's breakdown. Elena sat in there. Her living room. her eyes raw from crying. The house was silent, empty. She had been calling Nathan for hours. No answer. She had tried showing up at his office. He wasn't there. Panic clawed at her throat. Nathan had always been predictable, always reasonable, but not anymore. Her phone rang, and for a second, she prayed it was Nathan. It wasn't. It was Dylan. She answered with shaking hands. Dylan, thank God. I need to. Shut up, Elena. His voice was sharp. You ruined my life. She blinked. What? Camille filed for divorce. She took everything. Our house, our savings, even my damn dog. And on top of that, my company let me go. Elena's stomach dropped. What do you mean they let you go? Camille didn't just leave me, Elena. She went nuclear. She sent that f***ing recording asterisk to my boss. And guess what? Turns out, companies don't like hiring lying, cheating scumbags. Asterisk. Elena felt dizzy. She wouldn't do that. Oh, she did. And I know exactly where she got that recording from. A terrifying silence filled the air between them. Nathan did this. Dylan's voice was low, furious. Elena gripped the phone tighter. He's not like that. He wouldn't. He's not the same Nathan, Elena. Dylan snapped. You pushed him too far, and now we're both paying the price. Elena's breath came out ragged. This couldn't be happening. Fix this, Elena. Dylan's voice was cold. Fix it, or we're both screwed. The call went dead. Elena's hands shook as she dropped the phone onto the table. Nathan wasn't coming back, and for the first time, she understood exactly what she had lost. Nathan was already waiting when Elena arrived at the cafe. She had begged him to meet her, and for some reason, he had agreed. She slid into the seat across from him, her face pale, her eyes desperate. Nathan, please. Her voice cracked. Just talk to me. Nathan took a sip of his coffee, looking at her with zero emotion. Talk about what? Us. She reached for his hand, but he pulled away. I was stupid. I made a mistake. But I love you. He let out a slow, humorless laugh. You love me? That's rich, Elena. Tell me, did you love me when you mocked me to Dylan? When you laughed about how pathetic I was? When you had sex with him in our bed? Tears ran down her face. I wasn't thinking. No, he cut her off, his voice sharp as glass. You were thinking. You were thinking about what you wanted, about how much fun you could have before I found out. She shook her head, sobbing. I miss you. I miss us. We can fix this. Nathan leaned forward, his eyes like ice. There is no us anymore. Her face crumbled. Nathan, I can't lose you. Her voice was barely a whisper. For the first time, he smiled. Not kindly, not warmly. You already did. She broke. Right there, in front of him. And Nathan? He felt nothing. He stood up, tossing a few bills on the table. Goodbye, Elena. And with that, he walked away, never looking back. Epilogue. A new beginning. Nathan stared at the new set of apartment keys in his hand. A fresh start. A new life. He had lost everything. But in truth, he had gained something much more valuable. Freedom. For the first time in years, he was finally free. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the past lift off his shoulders. Nathan wasn't just a good man anymore. He was a smart man, and no one would ever take advantage of him again. The end. This is how Nathan's story had to end. He walked away on his own terms, leaving Elena to drown in her own mistakes. No over-the-top revenge, no screaming fights, just cold, calculated payback. Elena? She lost everything. Dylan? Destroyed. Camille? Thriving. And Nathan? Finally free. This was the ultimate revenge. What did you think? Did this ending hit the mark for you?